In the same interlude it doth befall that I, one snout by name, present a wall, and such a wall as I would have you think that it had in it a crannied hole or chink, through which the lovers Pyramus and Thisbe did whisper often, very secretly. Yes, Midsummer Night's Dream. I played Snout and Wall in ninth grade, and boom! Shakespeare was embedded into my mind. So I found this infographic. Welcome back to Ben's Books. It's been a minute. Not quite as long in coming as the room tour, but I finally got the job done and finished King Lear twice, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I read this infographic way back in, I think it was 2016, and it said that your average British person has had exposure to only 5 of Shakespeare's works in their lifetime, and I'll include that here. But I thought to myself, well, hey, I could do better than that. And so I counted it up. And first, as probably with most people, in ninth grade we had Romeo and Juliet. You know, the classic love-struck tragedy here. And I didn't realize how long this book actually was. Although it was only 242 pages. But yeah, so I picked this up to read again. Hope someday, you know, but I figured that was the first. Then, as I quoted earlier, I found my passage where I played Snout or Wall in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I was actually looking for the version I used way back in ninth grade when I was in drama. But actually, I was in Riverside Children's Theater before that, from 6th to 8th grade. Did a few productions there before I decided I should focus on my studies. But then we did A Midsummer Night's Dream, and that was fun. But yeah, not being unable to find that one, Mom replaced it with the Folger version here. And I also found an illustrated version in the garage when I was doing some cleaning. So I managed to pull that over. Comedy, very interesting. So that was the second one I had exposure to. The third one, which I don't have yet, of course, is 10th grade with Julius Caesar. And they were doing a mock trial. And I had no idea about the justice system at the time because lawyer dramas did not interest me one bit. But that was interesting. I also saw that performed at the Old Globe in San Diego. My friends took me to a modern production where everyone was wearing business suits. But they still had some sashes to throw back to the Roman Empire. So that was very interesting. Third. Fourth must be Hamlet, which we read in 12th grade at school. And as you can see from the infographic I showed you, there's the mainstream ones, there's the popular ones, there's the niche ones, or niche if you prefer. And there's the underground ones. And, you know, most of these are mainstream, as I think Macbeth falls into one of the 2 upper categories. And I saw this performed at university, the drama. Oh, there was a theater production on campus. So I saw that, and that was pretty interesting. But I look forward to reading that again. And then I was looking for something to buy to read on the plane when I was going home one time, and I saw The Merchant of Venice in the bookstore, so I bought it. And that's what sort of kicked all of this off, because this would be number 6, the red or thing, which would put me past the average person here. I was like, okay, well, how many more do I want to read? So after I came back, I started doing some internet searches and trying to buy up some books because I really liked the Penguin version here. It's got general introduction, chronology of Shakespeare's works, introduction, the play and performance, further reading, The Merchant of Venice, an account of the text, and commentary. And, oh, did I do a page count earlier? Actually, those are a misnomer because there are all the stuff I mentioned leading up to the play. This has 80 pages there, so even though the rest of the book is only like 148 pages, you can see before we even start the main book, we got a whole bunch of extra stuff, which is good. But yeah, so I read this and then went online. We grabbed Timon of Athens, which we have not read yet. The Winter's Tale, which we have not read yet. And then I ordered Richard III, but it was marked to Hell and Beyond. So again, Mom replaced that with this. The same time she got me my alternate Midsummer Night's Dream or replacement Midsummer Night's Dream. I have not read this yet, but I bought that Romeo and Juliet and this Romeo and Juliet because I noticed there's a Penguin version and then there's a Folger version. So those three were Folgers earlier, and it's like, okay, well, why don't I read these two, refresh my memory on the nuances of the play, and then compare the two in a video here. Alright, so that was the plan for 2024. Then, I'm sitting here reading King Lear last year. It took me a while to get through the introductory parts, but then, you know, when I knuckled down, the play went pretty good. The notes are a little bit hard to read because they're italicized, and to paraphrase Rocky, hey, yo, you know, my eyes ain't too good no more, you know? But, yeah, too much smartphone usage. So that was really difficult to get through. I turned the lights all the way up. It was better if I had not had as much TV or phone use earlier in the day, or before in the day, and I can read it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, this is fine right now. But yeah, sooner or later I'm going to have to start glasses. Anyway, so I told my friend and coworker that I was reading this, and then suddenly on my birthday, she gives me the King Lear Folger version with, why is my bookmark in there? Boarding pass. Anyway, yeah, I've been using that as a boarding or a bookmark for the Shakespeare stuff since Merchants in Venice here. She gifted me a large print, which was very easy to read. Well, the print was easy to read, the book not so much. Of King Lear Folger version here. And so I decided to up my literary comparison for the channel here to King Lear, which was a 2023, now 2024 read. So that's what we're going to do for the remainder of the video. I mean, part of me, since we have 5 of the small Penguin paperbacks here, part of me wants to keep it consistent. However, no complaint to my other friend who picked this up. It's just slightly bigger. The black print, cover of the Penguin Classics here. But the content is the same. I have checked that out. Verified. Boom. And, well, the content setup. Obviously, certain things will be specific to each play. As is the Folger versions. So, I mean, right now it's very nice and colorful, and again, different sizes, different versions here. So, again, part of me wants it to be more consistent. Part of me is just going to let it go because, one, books are heavy, and why do I need duplicates when I already have a couple duplicates, honestly. And, oh, we need King Lear. Okay. So, yeah, that's where we are. Thank you very much to all 3 of the people I mentioned previously who've contributed to this collection. But we're going to take a look and compare the Penguin Classics version of King Lear with the Folger version of King Lear. And we've got out our trusty whiteboard, which was very difficult to clean because it had not been used since online game night. So yeah, I had to use some alcohol wipes to get that stuff cleared up. But we brought that back, and we'll do a comparison here, and you can decide for yourself which one's better, and I'll tell you about the inside. So this is our comparative analysis of King Lear. Okay, so as we said here, let's do this upright. Do we want? I think it might be easier to read if we split the screen here. Penguin and Folger. Although we're probably going to write the introduction or whatever here and then give the points there appropriately. So, well, I think that's in view if I just slide that over there. Okay, so general introduction. Scott. This starts off with a general introduction, the chronology of Shakespeare's works. Those two are the same in every Penguin book. Introduction, the play in performance, further readings. You've got additions and editorial problems, sources, criticism, performance. King Lear, an account of the text, words for music in King Lear that's specific to this book, and commentary. Then in Folger, boom, you got the editor's preface. That's the same in every book. You got Shakespeare's King Lear, reading Shakespeare's language, King Lear. Shakespeare's life, that's the same in every book. Shakespeare's theater, that's the same in every book. The publication of Shakespeare's plays, that's the same in every book. An introduction to this text. King Lear, text of play with commentary. Textual notes. There's an appendix on Act 3, Scene 1, lines 21 to 46. King Lear, A Modern Perspective by Susan Snyder. There's an essay. Further reading, you've got essay reviews, Shakespeare's language, Shakespeare's life, Shakespeare's theater, the publication of Shakespeare's plays. Key to famous lines and phrases. And like we said, these follow the same pattern in every book. But again, there's a lot of stuff that's specific to each one. So, general introduction, I guess. That's a tie. We'll say gen intro, point there, point there. So we got 1-1 here. The chronology of Shakespeare's works. I don't actually see that in the Folger version, so we'll give a point to Penguin here for that. We got another introduction on the Penguin, and we're moving on to Shakespeare's King Lear. So I would think there's more context because they separate the basic introduction. I'll give a point to both for each, but specifically Shakespeare's life and Shakespeare's theater, we'd have to give a point each to Folger here. So they're ahead 4-3, and we're not even into the play first. Now, further reading. Okay. You got additions and editorial problems, sources, criticism, performance. That is, oh, did we say the play and performance? We did not say the play and performance. Play in performance. Okay, I'll put that down here with a little arrow going because it belongs there. That's actually a point for Penguin because, and this is another equal point, but I'm not going to write it down. This is used by the National Theatre in Britain, so you cannot go wrong using this text. This is the Folger Shakespeare Library, which is apparently the preeminent researcher and collection of Shakespeare in the world in the States. So you cannot go wrong with either one. That's an equal point. But the play and performance specifically here, we're giving to Penguin. And that's why, used by the National Theatre. Hey. Alright, so back up here to further reading. You have 7 pages and 4 options before the actual text or play. Here we got further reading after the play, where it belongs, because it's further reading. You got 1, 2, well, we said essay review, Shakespeare's language, Shakespeare's life, Shakespeare's theater, the publication of Shakespeare's plays. So that is 5 sections for 31 pages, and it's after the play. So, further reading, boom, Folger wins. If I can hold my pen properly, maybe the ink would come out. Huh. Okay. So that's a point for Folger. Play in performance, Shakespeare's life. Oh, we already gave that to Folger. Shakespeare's theater. So yeah, they do Shakespeare's life twice. Shakespeare's theater twice because of the further reading. Boom. Play in performance does go to Penguin there. Okay, then we've got the actual text itself. So, finally, King Lear. And now you start writing properly. Okay. Okay, so the play itself, you can either, as I did, read it straight through, and when you're reading Shakespeare, you do not want to stop at the line. I know you're taught that he wrote in iambic pentameter, but you don't want to stop at the end of the line because the next line continues from the previous line. So you just want to read it through like you're reading a normal book or a normal speech, normal conversation. Don't stop. Just because it looks different doesn't mean it should be read any differently. So this is the entire play in its entirety. This is the entire play on the right page with all the notes that come afterwards in the Penguin book. But you can read along as you're reading if necessary, or if you choose to do so. I read this one, the entire scene first, then I went back to the beginning of the scene, read all the notes, and then I continued on with the following scene because that's just the way I want to read it. So that style is actually up to you. I'm giving a point to both Penguin and Folger there for the actual text of the play. Now, and I mean, you'll find the reason why this is so important and why there's so many notes in both versions is that there's the quarto versions, which may or may not have been published with Shakespeare's permission. They were published while he was performing during his lifetime. And then the folio version, which by some accounts are better versions, but some accounts they're incomplete versions of the same play. So oftentimes the editors have had to splice them together to create the perfect version, well, not perfect version, but the best version available in terms of context and everything, and language and scenes and stuff like that. So they haven't made it easy on us trying to read his works nowadays. Or trying to study his works nowadays. But, you know, these are great versions, so they've done the work for us. an account of the text, textual notes. Okay, so those are the same. I'm going to give textual notes actually. Let's split those up. Because text notes afterwards I'm giving to Penguin. Text notes during I'm giving to Folger. So again, you can read them side by side in the Folger one or afterwards here. But the textual notes here is almost like deciphering code. Let's try and give you an example here real quick. Oh boy. Okay. So 4.60 scene 6 close brackets ed period semicolon scena quinta F, which is folio, 0 dot SD stage direction Edgar Edmund Q1 first quarto 1 dot I close brackets we Q1 2 up it bracket it VP misspelling Q1 11 dot capital I in close bracket with Q1 17 dot low exclamation point bracket F open parentheses hyphen comma close parentheses semicolon hyphen caret Q1. Okay, so they're saying that some of them were omitted in certain versions or some of them were corrected or misprinted in other versions. It's very difficult to read. The textual notes here afterwards do a much better job of that, but they function the same as the text notes that accompany the play side by side here. So, I'm not saying one's better than the other, I'm just saying they're different. Words for music in King Lear is specific only to Penguin. So, I'll give Penguin a point there. Yeah, there are a couple things where they mention the music. They do mention it in the notes, but not as in depth as the Penguin version. But that's specific to this book only. And then we've got commentary, which I guess that would be King Lear, the essay. I mean, Penguin was good. I think the Folger one was slightly better. So I'll give a 0.5 to commentary there and a full 1 for Miss Snyder's essay there. And we already covered the further reading up above, and then there's a key to famous lines and phrases in Folger only, so that gets a point. So let's add them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. I could have just moved Penguin over here because there's all this space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So the final verdict is they're both awesome. No, but seriously, I would give Folger a winning this battle 9-5. For King Lear, who knows how the other ones would actually play out. But yeah, there's just more stuff, especially the further readings. What did we say? 7 pages? Yeah. 24 more pages of further readings. They go into book and essay reviews, so it's very in-depth. Again, you've got 338 pages plus. Before that, come on. It's a massive book. Okay. 62. So that's about 400 pages right there. And Penguin was 279 plus, what did we say, 83. Okay. So 280 plus 80 roughly. That's about 360. So you're definitely getting more text here. Again, you can't go wrong with either. They're both great versions. It's just for me, Folger seems to win because it just has more and more expert analysis and stuff. But again, it's up to you. Both versions are great. And I really enjoyed reading King Lear once. The second time was a bit more challenging. It was easier to read, but it was more challenging to get through because I'd already read it once and kind of just wanted to get it done. I do not recommend reading the same one back to back unless you are studying it for a class. And yeah, you could seriously take an entire course just on King Lear, just based on the recommended readings, further readings here. But yeah, that is Ben's books, the comparative analysis of the Penguin King Lear, which is what should be holding that in the right hand, and the Folger King Lear here. Let me know your favorite Shakespeare works in the comments, and if you're reading any now. I'll of course let you know when I start my next play, which I'm thinking is going to be Richard III because I've never read a history. I've never read a history from Shakespeare, so yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, again, let me know in the comments. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, keep reading and keep dancing.